We're sending you back to the future!
You're a dork.
I hate dorks.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
Welcome to Talks with Dorks, and more specifically, continuing the countdown. We are ever so close now to TDW back in time. At the moment of recording this is probably going to come out a few days after the fact, but at the moment of recording this, we are just under 2 weeks away. And what a episode we have got for you today, because it is all about the main event for TDW back in time. Now, if you've been following us on the socials, and if not, why haven't you? Please give us a follow at TalkDork Podcast or at TalkDork Wrestling to see all the updates. But if you've been following us on the socials, you already know some of those details already. And even if you haven't been following us on those socials, cast your mind back a good few weeks ago where we set up the first half of this main event. And I might as well bring it in now because he's joining us again all the way over in the States, a comfortable 5 hours before us in terms of time difference. But he's with us again today. One half of that main event, D'Angelo, is joining us. And mate, it's been a minute. How are you doing?
What's going on, Kurt? Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're back. I mean, it's weird. I mean, what is it now? Has it been like two and a bit months since you were last on?
Just about, but I mean, man, the buzz since then, like, it's been insane.
I mean, you have literally not rested as well. Like I've been keeping track on all your socials as well. Like you've been tearing it up left, right, and centre. I was starting to fan myself a little bit in terms of I hope he makes it to the show because you know we're giving that guy that main event platform. Don't run yourself into the ground too soon. But mate, I am so looking forward to seeing, and I don't think the British crowd know fully what to expect from you in that main event. But last time you were on, you issued an open challenge to say, hey, I'm coming over across the pond and I want to wrestle the best of British, whoever that might be. And we threw it out there to say, hey, if there's anyone on the TDW roster or even someone elsewhere who thinks that they fit that bill, to get in contact and let us know. And again, if you've been following us on the socials, especially on the at TalkDork Wrestling side of things, you will already know that we've had a few people, in fact, respond to that challenge. But there was one person in particular who the GMs, J.E. and Stally, took one look at and went, I think we've got our main event. And I'm not going to make him stand on ceremony anymore, although he's sitting today. That is, and I've got to give him the proper title, Sir Ryan Matthews.
Finally, someone, respecting that title and pronouncing it correctly. I'll give you that, Kurt. Well done.
I mean, to be fair, there's enough Ryans on this podcast. I get very used to calling Ryan Sir. It's just a reflex at this point. But, Ryan, so you not only responded, you responded in such a way that it was almost impossible for the GMs not to take notice. Now, before we get too far into things, I think on behalf of anyone who either hasn't seen that video yet, or especially is less familiar with you, what is it about you and your wrestling history and your style that made you say, I am that guy?
Well, you're talking about the best of British, right? I don't know if you've watched anything about me or seen anything I sent over to you guys. I am British wrestling. I dream of representing Britain. My style is classic British. I don't know what more I can say. Like, you've got an American flying over here thinking he's gracing us with his presence and that is going to be a treat for us. British wrestling is where wrestling was really born, and we all know that for a fact. That's why you two are fans. That's probably why D'Angelo's a fan. He probably watched a couple of Will Ospreay matches and he thinks, I know everything about British wrestling. But let's be real. When he comes over here, I'm going to show him what real British wrestling is.
So, in terms of what real British wrestling is, we'll get onto that in a minute, but you've got a couple of monikers that come with you. Number one is one that you said actually on the video that you sent to the GMs, that made them take notice, which is the modern classic. And you said you are classic British wrestling through and through. The other is the one that makes us raise a few more eyebrows, which is pure violence. Now,
Well-
I hear classic and I hear pure violence, and to me, those are two things that don't normally go together, like the usual handshake respect of British wrestling, plus the pure violence. And I'm curious, what can I say?
Well, what can I say? You know, being a British technician like myself, you find it, you know, it happens quite a lot where opponents will get frustrated because I'm going to be honest, gentlemen, I wrap them up in knots. I put them in holds they've never dreamed of being in, and they have no idea what to do. That's very much why I'm always telling people it's tap or snap when you're in the ring with me. And normally, what's the response when people get frustrated, when people get angry? Is violence. So I have to respond with the same violence, if not more, because British wrestling, you know, it's still very foreign to a lot of people. But just because I know how to wrap people up in submission doesn't mean I'm not going to throw a punch or make you know who Sir Ryan Matthews is. And that's the truth.
You say British wrestling is very foreign to a lot of people. It might be foreign to the man that you're facing in the main event, that being D'Angelo. Now, D'Angelo, since we last spoke, I don't know, obviously you've been a very busy man. I don't know if you had much of an opportunity to swat yourself up on the British wrestling scene. Like, how familiar would we say we are at this point?
I'm going to leave it at this. No, I've never been to England. I've never wrestled in England. But, Ryan, you're not the first British talent that I'll be facing. I went 30 minutes with the governor himself, Martin Stone, fresh out of his contract when I was 2 months in. So I'm pretty familiar with how the British strong style operates. And fun fact, I didn't even watch Ospreay until I really got into pro wrestling. So I like that you're trying to get in my head, and you're probably used to getting into guys' heads because maybe you wrestle a lot of simple-minded people. But man, my motto is that I'm built from the struggle and I always deliver. And part of being built from the struggle is I know how to fight and I've never backed down from a fight. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, well, you say 30 minutes like that's meant to impress me. That just sounds to me like he couldn't get it done in 30 minutes. You know, it would take me 10, if that. 30 minutes, like that's an accomplishment. Yeah, he's a great talent, I'll give you that. But you have no idea of some of the level of talent I've stepped in the ring with over here in Britain. And I've even wrestled over there in the States and Texas. And some of your guys are pretty tough as well. But guess what? I wrapped them up in knots. I made them tap out. And then I came home and did the exact same thing like I always do.
Well, you say 30 minutes. I mean, you guys are in the main event at this point. You're the last match of the night. And although we've got a time advertised when the show's supposed to end, technically, it ends when you're done at this point. So this match could go 30 minutes. This match could go 40 minutes. This match could keep on going all the way into the night if it needs to, because I want to see what happens when one of the best rising stars in the USA meets one of the best of the UK scene. I mean, it's going to be USA versus UK. It's going to be a clash of stars. It's going to be a clash of cultures. And it is going to be a massive introduction to the UK crowds of D'Angelo. And I'm just excited. What can I say? I mean, I want to see this more than anything. I mean, I did not take much convincing. Neither did anyone else on the TDW board when the GMs brought Ryan's video to the table and said, I think we found our guy. And to be fair, seeing that very classic British strong style to mix with D'Angelo's, and we've called it in the past, explosive style as well, I think there's going to be an explosion in this match. Now, I don't know if it's going to be fast-paced. I don't know if it's going to be drawn out. I don't know if it's going to be 40 minutes. I don't know if it's going to be 5. All I know is this is going to be an absolute barn burner. And I can't think of anything better than just putting these two guys in the ring and seeing what happens.
Well, you say that. You keep talking about, you know, how long this fight could possibly go and what me and D'Angelo are willing to do to each other. Well, you know, I claim to be best of British because I know I am. D'Angelo wants an introduction to British wrestling. Well, if you're coming over here, mate, why don't we make it British rounds? How about that? What do you think of that?
Hang on.
Wow.
You say British rounds. Are you? I get one thing in my mind when you say that. Are you proposing what I think you're proposing here, Ryan?
I don't think I could be any more clear. He wants to experience British wrestling, so do it the British way. See if you can last with me. British rounds.
Right. So, guys, okay. Let me get this straight. So, if we're talking British rounds, we're talking. Classic will be 5 rounds.
Yep.
5 minutes apiece. There is a potential then. So, firstly, this match will go less than half an hour. That's guaranteed. But also, there's a chance of a draw in this case. Then, is that something you two would be happy with?
There's no chance of a draw.
That's too long of a flight to go home without a win.
Well, you're not going home with a win either, so you're going to be pretty disappointed.
No, that's cool. For somebody that said that they could beat me in 5 minutes or less to want to go rounds with somebody that doesn't have a gas tank, my gas tank never runs on empty, bro. I can go all night. Matter of fact,
Well, surely-
I'm flying to the UK right now. We can get started as soon as I get there. Like,
I'm
I mean,
trying to do you a favour.
like-
These rounds are purely for your benefit. It's so you get that little breather in between to really think about what's happening. You can throw in the towel anytime you want, D'Angelo.
I'll be doing push-ups during my breather, bro.
Of course
While
you
you're
will.
over there gasping for air and drinking water, I'll be doing my reps. I can guarantee.
Surely, if Ryan's that confident, I'm expecting Ryan to win 5-0, no? Take every round.
Well, I mean, firstly, introducing the additional name that you're hearing there, if you are just listening on the audio version of this on Spotify, wherever you get your usual podcast from, that is the voice of Max's wrestling channel, who was involved in our previous show, and may I just say, and I know I'm supposed to be impartial, the slaps, plural, that you delivered to Parky are still living rent-free in my brain. That is one of my highlights from Never Say Die, but Max is here for a reason, because you've already thrown your hat in the ring to be in D'Angelo's corner in his match at Back in Time. Now, if we're going classic British rules here, and look, Ryan, I don't need much convincing, mate. We want to put an extra stipulation on this. We want to make this a little bit spicier and see something that we don't normally see in a TDW ring. I'm very happy to say yes to that straight away. But Max, I mean, this is probably a great opportunity to bring you in, because you're going to be in D'Angelo's corner then. And if we're doing classic, World of Sport style British rounds, you're going to have arguably more of a job as D'Angelo's corner man.
Well,
in
to be
between those
honest,
rounds.
really, we were expecting probably to end it in 5 minutes. So if we've got to go 5 times that, so be it. Light work. Light work for him. Light work. And you'll see.
It's getting a reaction.
2 weeks Sunday, you will see.
It's getting a reaction from someone who's been in the background with Ryan since the start of this call. And again, if you're just on the audio, you might not know who I'm referring to, but I'm going to let Ryan introduce him at this point, because I can only assume you had this challenge ready to go, because would this be a hunch to say that you've already got someone in mind to be in your corner?
Of course I have. Well, I always come with a plan, but I wasn't expecting D'Angelo to crawl for some backup so quickly, but I am prepared. In fact, I'll introduce who I'm going to have in my corner, as she's sitting here right beside me. You're looking at a former 3-time DOA Women's World Champion. You're looking at the current Bellatrix World Champion.
And Grand Slam.
Grand Slam Champion. 12 years in this wrestling business. Second generation. The person I am bringing to my corner is the badass of British wrestling, Leia Elise.
And it just got more interesting.
It sounds like she's got more going for her than Ryan at this rate.
I was about to say, I'm more intimidated by her resume than yours, bro. Like,
Excuse me, don't ever underestimate or disrespect Sir Ryan Matthews, okay? Let me just get that straight, especially you, Max. If you think you're going to be in D'Angelo's corner and that you're going to be safe, yeah, just saying.
I am more worried
y'all
about
better
you than
put some
Ryan, I'm not
respect.
going to lie.
Y'all better put some respect on the name Main Event Max. All right? He is Main Event Max. It's going to stick.
That's it.
It's ridiculous. You don't think I've got the credentials to face you, D'Angelo? Like I know I'm busy hyping up Leia Elise over here, but I'm also a former world light heavyweight champion. I'm a former world tag team champion, multiple time champion across other companies. I've wrestled in Britain. I've wrestled over there in the US of A. Is that not enough for you? Well, it's going to be enough.
I never said you weren't qualified. I asked for the best. Yeah. They say that you're the best.
Yeah, you got 2 for the price of 1, so very lucky indeed.
Well, he was second choice, D'Angelo. He wasn't their first choice, but we won't go there.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
We did not need much convincing. Let's put it that way. But there's a phrase that you just said there. There's a phrase you just said there, Sir Ryan, which was 2 for the price of 1, and I feel like I need to latch onto that and go back to something that Max said earlier on, because again, if you're saying classic British rules, I want to do this letter of the law in terms of classic British rules, because yes, this might stack the cards against D'Angelo, putting him in a match that, not only in front of a crowd that he's never been in front of before, but in a match that he's never been in before. But if we're doing this properly, we need to lay out the rules. So, classic British rules, world of sports style, that is 5 rounds, 5 minutes apiece. At the end of each round, you go back to your corners, spend some time with your corner rep, with your manager, recharge if you need to recharge, game plan if you need to game plan. However, Max said this could go 5-0. Ryan said 2 for the price of 1. And so Ryan is more accurate because classic British rules, it is 2 falls to a finish. One pin ain't going to do it.
Even your manager doesn't know the rules of the match. You're screwed.
Because we don't normally go that long. We're normally over after a round.
You've got a couple of weeks, mate. You've got a couple of weeks if you need to find
someone.
Go
ahead and get satisfied, man. Like you think I'm screwed, man. I've had the odds against me my whole life. So just putting the odds against me, that puts more pressure on my back. That means I have to thrive even more. So like,
that means you have to do some homework.
Go ahead. Let's do your style of match, because we're in your hometown and you want to teach me. You want to give yourself the advantage because you know the type of dog that I am. Go ahead and give yourself the advantage, man. I'll see you October 26th.
Okay.
I love that fighting talk. I love the fact that D'Angelo is not intimidated by that unfamiliar match.
Never.
Now, admittedly, you say that the cards are stacked against you. Again, it's 2 falls to a finish, though, so there's not going to be a fluke win here. Like, it has to be decisive. So 2 pinfalls or 2 submissions over the course of those 5 rounds. There are 2 other ways the match can end, though. Number 1 is classic British rules essentially incorporates last man standing rules. You can win the match instantly upon a standing referee 10 count. Also,
there you go, D'Angelo. Even if you're not in the mood to tap out, I'll just knock you out instead. You've got so many options. You're sorted. You've got nothing to worry about.
Take your pick.
Oh man.
Well, be careful about how you're knocking him out if you go for that approach, because DQs also apply, as per usual in a classic British rules match. But more importantly, there are changes to the way the DQ structure works. So, firstly, usual fare, serious rule infractions, chair shots, low blows, and the like. Not looking at anyone in particular on this front. I hope it's going to be a nice, clean match, but serious rule infractions, instant DQ, as per usual. However, more minor rule infractions, such as eye rakes or ignoring referee instruction or things like that, that carries with it a public warning system. The referee will issue a warning, it will be announced to the crowd, and that is a 3 strikes and you're out policy. So you can get DQ'd for minor stuff if you ignore the rules too much. And perhaps most importantly, there is something in a classic British rules match that can get you DQ'd that does not normally happen in an American rules match, which is deliberately throwing your opponent over the top rope, Royal Rumble style, is an instant DQ. Now, that might sound incredibly minor, but again, if you're used to American style, that's something that you can very readily do and would not normally... You'd get a slap on the wrist from the ref at worst. Classic British rules, that's an instant DQ. If anyone forgets themselves in this match, it can be over very quick.
Well, it's a gentleman's sport at the end of the day. Us British wrestlers like to keep it in the ring. None of that shenanigans on the outside, mucking around with the peasants in the front row.
The flippy doodahs you were talking about?
Yeah, exactly. All that flippy dippy crap.
That's cute, man. Like, if you don't have that athleticism to do it, then just say that, bro. Like,
I can dive.
I can keep it in the ring and still do my flippy doodahs.
It's high risk, low reward. What is the point? I don't need to. I can just throw you back in the ring and I can lock on a hold and you tap out. Why the hell would I need to throw myself over a top rope like some gymnastic moron who hasn't got any care for their body? I know what I need to do to beat you, so top rope is irrelevant.
You just played your whole card, man. You really just played your whole card. So the fact that you can't hang with the flippy doodah just shows me that, like, when I go to do so, you have no history with it.
And
How are you going to counter it?
You've clearly not done your homework. I'm a hybrid.
If I'm flipping and twirling in the air, you can't snatch me in a submission.
Yeah, but I can catch you and do it just the same, so it's irrelevant. I can fly. I'm a powerhouse. I'm a technician. I'm a hybrid wrestler, D'Angelo. Everything.
I'm all of that too. My style is explosive. I'm not an American style wrestler. I'm not a strong style wrestler. I'm not even a high flyer. My style is explosive. I am an explosive person. Straight like that.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Roughly 25 minutes if we use the full rounds.
No, won't need it.
Ryan needs to do some homework badly. He's going to be eating words.
I don't think so, pal. I don't think so. I think you've picked the wrong team.
No way, mate. Always.
Anyway.
No way. I'm on the right team. I've known this guy a long time, and I know what he can do, and you don't.
I've done my homework. I've seen what D'Angelo. I'm not gonna mince my words. It's not a case of me not being impressed by what you do. I do think you're a credit of a talent, but I just know it's not enough. And I'm trying to be gracious in telling you this, just so you're not gonna go home disappointed. But it is what it is. You can take it how you like. And Max, if you still want to change teams, you've got 2 weeks, so have a think.
Mate, it's never happening, bro. Never happening.
Never.
Well, I think we can make this official at this point. I'm going to make that executive decision now. We've talked about it enough, and honestly, I am genuinely salivating at the idea of being able to put on a match that you do not see, even in the British ring nowadays, that often. In that classic British rules style match. Now, I think there's possibly going to be homework that needs to be done on every count then. That, again, obviously, D'Angelo first time in that match. Obviously, first time that you two guys are going to be locking horns as well. I'm assuming there's going to be some tape studying. And I think even the Brits might need to swat up on this match because it's not regularly seen even in British rings nowadays. There's a reason we're calling this classic British rules as well. Like, again, you see posters around the UK for independent wrestling shows and it will be advertised as American wrestling because that's the style that's been adopted even over here. But we're bringing it back to its roots with this match.
Kurt,
And
can we just say that means Ryan's got the advantage? So D'Angelo's already up against it. But it's okay. Ryan needs the advantage. No problem. He can take it.
Ryan doesn't need the advantage. Thank you very much.
Sounds like he does.
At the end of the day,
You just need to crawl out of D'Angelo's ass there and just shut your mouth, yeah?
It's called loyalty. Loyalty to your pals.
I don't want you to get confused here and think that this British rules thing is me trying to hide my weaknesses. I've told you from the start, D'Angelo, you're coming over to Great Britain. The origin of grappling, wrestling, the snake pit, where wrestling really found its roots. So I want to give you a first course in what British wrestling is. It's nothing to do with hiding weaknesses because I wrestle these rules on a weekly basis.
I respect that.
I've also wrestled the American rules.
I know that.
So,
look, man, we can sit here and talk about it all day long, but we have a dope opportunity to showcase something that is not seen over there or over here. You guys are giving us that opportunity. And may the best man win. And I know I will.
Okay.
Agree.
And to be fair, we said about stacking the cards against D'Angelo here, and arguably we are a little bit with this specific type of match, but there is a reason why. There's a reason why I'm very happy to make this official right now, other than the fact that, look, the organizer in me is seeing a relatively unique match and thinking, hey, if we get an opportunity to put this on in our ring, in our main event, absolutely, Ryan, I will respect the fact that you've even pitched it in the first place there. But part of the reason why I'm so happy to make this official is because I was going to ask D'Angelo how he felt about that before I made it official, but the man has shown so much fire in his response to that I know that this match doesn't intimidate him. And with that in mind, I was very happy to say yes. But also, at the end of the day, casting our minds back a couple of months when D'Angelo first made an appearance on the podcast, you laid out an open challenge, and the key word there was open. Anyone from anywhere across the UK. You said you'd take on all comers. You said you'd take it in a multi-man match if need be. And with that in mind, I knew whatever form of opponent, stipulation, whatever we threw your way, you were going to be down for. And it seems like you are.
Like I said before, man, my hands are like a video game. They're rated E for everybody. Like, I asked for the best. Y'all got me the best. I'm satisfied. Like,
and I'm looking forward to putting on what I think is going to be one of the best matches that the UK independent wrestling scene has seen in a while at Back in Time. So, let's say it one more time and make it official. Back in Time, 26th of October, TDW's second ever show. In our main event, you are going to be seeing, firstly, the UK debut of the explosive US rising star D'Angelo against the modern classic, pure violence, Ryan Matthews. If that wasn't reason enough, it is also going to be classic British rules. 5 rounds, 2 pinfalls or submissions to win, or a knockout, with the additional wrinkles of the over-the-top rope disqualification as well. This is British wrestling as many people got introduced to it as a child. And again, I am so looking forward to this. We're going to have, of course, our corner managers as well to keep those, to firstly keep a bit of order, but also to make sure that in between those rounds, you guys are having that recoup time, you guys are having that game plan time. And there's a lot of things that are added wrinkles in this match. And again, the fact that both you have someone in your corner, I'm curious what that's going to look like with a couple of extra people for the referee to keep an eye on, as well as enforcing all those additional rules. And quite frankly as well, I'm just looking forward to seeing our referee in a good old-fashioned bow tie.
Well, I'm not quite sure what you're insinuating there, but Leia Elise will not be putting her hands on anybody unless necessary. If anything, that is a warning to you, Max. Keep in your corner, keep out of the way, and if you're lucky, Leia Elise will stay away from you as well.
Are you sure she's not in your corner in case you need to swap halfway through?
Swap halfway through. D'Angelo will be lucky if he makes it halfway through.
oh man.
Rounds.
Like, this guy can wrestle for days.
Not the way I wrestle. Not the way I
Stop it,
wrestle.
man. You're breathing hard right now. I can
Am I?
feel your heart beating, and I'm 8 hours away. I'm in your head, bro. Just go ahead and say it.
That's cute.
You're not in my head.
Living rent free.
I am.
I'm looking forward to somebody else to bend, somebody else to break. I'm excited, D'Angelo. I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. I'm glad you are. I'm glad we're on the same page. Because we won't be on the 26th.
No.
You can count me among the people who are excited as well. Again, 26th of October, TDW Back in Time. Get those tickets again to see Sir Ryan Matthews versus D'Angelo. USA versus UK. Classic British rules with, of course, Leia Elise in Ryan's corner and Max from Max's Wrestling Channel. Main event Max in main event D'Angelo's corner.
Main event Max.
It's going to be a thing. Get your tickets again. Link in the description below. Go to Eventbrite if you want to go direct as well. And of course, don't forget, if you are a card grader and you want to get your collectible cards graded, you can do so at Tree Frog Grading. And also, if you use the code TWD15 at checkout, you get 15% off. Of course, we are Talks with Dorks, but we are also TDW Wrestling. And if you are just watching or listening to this on the usual podcast format, head on over to the TDW socials to see all the highlights from our previous shows and all the build-up to Back in Time, plus everything that's going to come after the fact as well. We're on YouTube and Instagram at TalkDorkWrestling. And of course, if you want to see the full Never Say Die show, our first ever show from a few months ago, in all its glory, plus back in time once it is in the history books, then you can do so on our Patreon. It is patreon.com/TalkDorkPodcast. You can join us at the monthly subscription tier, and it really helps us put on even bigger and better shows. But also, if you do fancy just doing a one-off payment just for the wrestling show, you can do that as well, if that is all that you want from us. No problem at all. We appreciate your support in any way that you can. But otherwise, guys, we are less than 2 weeks until that main event. I'm excited. I feel like everyone involved is excited. I'm going to give you one opportunity to say any final words, and otherwise we will leave it until the 26th when you guys finally get to clash face to face. But going around one more time. Firstly, the man who issued the Open Challenge in the first place, D'Angelo, making your UK debut in a couple of weeks' time. You know the match you're going to be in now. Any final thoughts or words from you, my friend?
Nah, man, I'm locked in. I'm fired up. I'm in Ryan's head. Like, it gets no better than this. You know, I'm just ready to get on that plane, get to the gym as soon as I get off the plane, and then it's go time. October 26th, baby. Let's go.
Max, you're in D'Angelo's corner. I understand you're probably going to want to do most of your managing and coaching behind the scenes, not give the game plan away, but any words of advice for D'Angelo or any final words you might want to say to either Ryan or to your equivalent in the form of Leia, who's going to be in Ryan's corner?
We don't need
Any
to
words
discuss
from you, mate?
tactics. We know what we're doing. We know what we're coming for. But the only advice I have for Ryan, get to the gym, man, and I think you need to do some cardio because you are sounding a bit heavy on the breathing just sat on the couch there. So that's my advice for you, man. I don't need to say nothing else.
Oh, wow.
And finally, 2 for the price of 1. They're on the same webcam today. Ryan, Leia, any final words from you? And I feel like there might be 1 or 2 after the last comment from Max, but I'm not going to say nothing.
Well, I'm going to save the little petty insults about a little bit of heavy breathing. It's nothing to do with being blowing or losing my gas tank. It's a bit of chesty cough. But I'll tell you this for free, D'Angelo. You've got a lot of homework to do, my friend. Learn what World of Sport is all about. Learn what British wrestling is all about. And then when you come over here, I'll give you that lesson firsthand. And you can go home and show everybody that 5-minute match you managed to get out of Ryan Matthews before he tapped you out.
Well, it might be 5 minutes, or it might be 5 times that. We got 5 rounds and 2 falls to find out a winner. Again, 26th of October, TDW, back in time. If I don't speak to you sooner, I hope I will see you there. Ryan, D'Angelo, Leia, Max, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in and around that ring in the main event on the 26th of October. I've been Kurt. This has been Talks with Dorks. See you later.
We're sending you back to the future.
You're a dork.
I hate dorks.
Guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.